monkey, giraffe, Eiffel Tower, the Queen of England.
When the kids are
New Pope.
counting sheep.
Oh, girlfriend.
When the kids go to sleep.
Feel my boobs.
Okay, they're great. Okay.
Do they feel bigger? Seriously, Phil.
Yep, they
Phil.
feel super
Cup
tough
'em.
and huge.
What do you think?
Love your boobs, man. Love them.
Here, motorboat me. Is that inappropriate? Is that inappropriate?
No, just annoying.
Come here, I'll give you a massage.
Okay.
Get out of here. You owe me a massage. I bought a bench press recently, so I've been doing bench press.
So I do not owe you a massage.
You owe me a foot
You
massage.
owe me.
I don't know you nothing, woman.
You owe me everything.
I had a bad dream last night.
Well, don't.
I dreamed we were getting a divorce.
That's a horrible dream.
I know.
Why'd you have that dream?
It's a nightmare. It's a nightmare. And I was
Wow.
it was
no
like,
worries, because you're not getting rid of me that easy.
it was a bad dream. And then I was like, how are we going to tell YouTube?
Oh, we're not.
Wouldn't that be the
We're not
worst?
getting a divorce, everybody. Mom and Dad are fine, okay? I promise.
I bet you that video would get a lot of views, though.
No.
We could make some money off this divorce. Get some real cash.
That's awful.
Roll some pre-rolls and mid-rolls and post-rolls on that
You're
divorce.
awful.
Dude, if we wrecked our family, think of how the revenue that would come in.
That's awful. That's not true. What do you guys in the Blog
capitalism.
TV chat think about this conversation
What do you guys
so
think?
far?
Think we could raise over like $10,000 if we got a divorce? We could start a Kickstarter for each of our...
You know what I like about having the Blog TV on during our
What?
podcast is if we say something that's kind of like, oh crap, what are people going to think?
They let us know
And
right
we
there.
can
No
find out
divorce,
right then.
bro. Easily. Somebody says we could easily raise 10 grand. You have too many children. That's right. We have to stay together for the children.
Stay together
Plus
for
the
the
sex
children.
ain't bad either. Ho, snap!
What is with you today?
I just like to say words that's shocking. Listen to the sound of a whole oven nose. New apple cinnamon Cheerios. Welcome to the podcast, episode 105 of When the Kids Go to Sleep, right here in Los Angeles, California, at Maker Studios. Booyah! I went on a long run today, so I have a lot of energy.
Shay's happy today. He's happy.
It's this crazy phenomena. 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 You run, you exercise in the morning, boom, instant energy the rest of the day. Counterintuitive to what you would expect. Exerting 9 miles of beach running in the sand. It's tiring and sweaty. Take a shower, have a juice. I'm ready to go, bro.
I did not do that today.
So, see? Sluggish.
I went grocery
Lackadaisical.
shopping
You did?
and I cleaned our kitchen.
Oh, is that what you did after you dropped the kids off at school? Mm-hmm. Bless your heart.
Yep. I'm a good wife.
What'd you buy?
I
How
got
much of my
some
money did you spend?
water, and Wtkgts had to get some mac and cheese.
Did he get his own?
He got.
Dude.
We get that Annie's brand because it's supposed to be like natural or whatever, and he loves it.
What do you mean natural?
It's like all natural
Noodles?
cheese and
Natural
noodles.
powdered cheese?
Yeah.
You know the natural powdered cheese plant out there in South America?
I don't know. I'd have to compare the two boxes. I haven't.
There are
done
these
that
little
yet.
seeds that grows next to the cocoa tree, and there's these little and you open the seed
Natural
and that
cheese.
powdered cheese comes out.
Yep. Sure does.
Wtkgts is a little independent son of a bee.
Oh my goodness,
He
he's
is-
adorable. He loves cooking
He cooks
and making
on his own.
things.
He's 2.
Yep.
The other day I
He
walked
makes
in
his
there
own
and he
mac
was
and
like working
cheese.
up a souffle. I'm like, bro, what's with the flamboyant?
Make me one.
What's the flat? What's they calling it? It has the fire.
The creme brulee, or fond. I know what you're talking about.
But he is. He
Flan?
doesn't like he'll if he needs help, but like a lot of times he'll just you hear him in there getting the stool out, and you
And
like
he
hear
gets
him
the
like
pan
putting it
out,
up,
and you're like, okay, whoa.
and I can hear him in there
whoa.
like, oh, dinner's about to be made. I better go supervise this.
And there's been a few times where the knob on the
It's twisted. Not
what
good.
call it?
Not
Twisted,
good.
and the gas is going, and we're like, what? Wtkgts!
And he's over there with a flint and steel, like.
Yeah,
I'm like, Wtkgts.
It's really bad.
What did we
It's really
tell
bad.
you about that?
he's just a natural.
Get out
born
there and
cook.
feed the horses, young man. You're in trouble.
horses.
I wish we had
I
horses.
kind of wish we did too.
Don't lie.
I wish we had the
I
land.
tried to get a horse one time, and you said no.
We don't have land. We need a ranch if we're gonna have no horse.
isn't a man unless he has land. Right?
And a horse.
Tell me that. What's that line from Far and Away?
He goes, a man ain't nothing in this world without land, or something like
Dude,
that.
one of my favorite movies, Far and Away with Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman. If you haven't seen it, get your eyeballs on that
Far
flick.
and
It's a
away.
good one. That's not part of the that's not the song, the
Yes,
jingle.
it is. It's Enya.
Oh, is it?
Far and away.
I don't know what you're talking about. Watch that movie. It's in the
Watch
it's in the
it
edit, the
again
credits.
and look at the credits.
Far and Away, that is my movie recommendation for you people.
Today.
Watch it. Good movie. It's a true story too. Not totally true, but based on a true story.
So speaking
Tom
of
Cruise
true
is hot
stories
in that movie too.
that happen in your life,
True rope swing stories of the third encounter.
I want to talk about the rope swing for a minute.
Dude, that video, Devin Supertramp's rope swing video, has 9 million views on it. Did you see it, Blake? What'd you think? It's pretty good, right?
I was at church the other day, and one of the ladies in our Relief Society came up to me, and she
What's the
said,
Relief Society?
it is the women's organization in the church that I attend.
Do you know that the Relief Society is the longest running women's group
Really?
in the
I
nation
think I did know that.
of United States of America? Mm-hmm. Cool. Anyways, what did the lady say?
And she said, I did not realize that that was your husband on that rope swing video. And I said, yes, that is. She said, I had to watch it a couple times. And I didn't know until I got to church and somebody else said, yeah, you know that's Shay, don't you?
Who was it? Do I know who
It was.
Don't say her name.
Yeah.
We don't
you
want to
know.
expose
But yeah,
their Mormonism.
it was hilarious. Yeah, you don't want to expose their Mormonism. Because it's
My grandma called me after that rope swing video pissed off. I was
in trouble.
Yeah, I thought like she was just kind of joking around, but she was genuinely angry at me. I'm like, Grandma, I'm sorry. Like, it was safe. I said it was a calculated risk. My aunt and uncle called me, yelling at me. Mm-hmm. It was not.
And the funny thing was, I expected my dad to do that.
Yeah.
And he actually left a comment on your video saying,
He
I
said-
hope you have good life
He said,
insurance
I hope you have
for
good
my
life insurance for my daughter and grandkids.
grandkids.
And then I replied a hilarious reply and said, we have 6 months of Oriental chicken ramen noodles stored up.
Which we do. It's really good.
That's our life insurance.
But actually, when he called, he said, I am so proud of Shay for doing that. That is such a great...
He was jealous. He wanted
He
to do
was.
it.
That was something that he would have loved to do.
Because her dad, as a young man, he was like always in the Grand Canyon. He's like a really good kayaker, and he did a lot of like canyoneering and stuff. So I think he would have loved to have done
Yeah.
that. A lot of people would do it. A lot of people wouldn't. But let's talk about we talked about it a little bit, but like we have on our board extreme sports experiences and risks. And how do things change with kids in a family? Because that's something you have to definitely take in consideration.
Right.
You know, when I was a kid, I was kamikaze. I got voted. Listen to this, ladies and gentlemen. I got voted
Listen.
in 9th grade.
Open up your ears.
Let me open up your earlobes. Let me tell you a little story about my past. I got voted most daring in 9th grade.
You did?
That's a title that I hold with pride.
You know, I got voted in high school.
Most likely to marry the most daring 9th grader.
Most likely to be famous.
You did?
Uh-huh.
You did?
I did.
Your dreams are coming true. You're so famous.
Oh, well, I
Did you really?
tried.
What grade was that?
It was, you know, in your senior yearbook, you get like most likely to this, most likely to that. That was
When
mine.
did I get voted in my senior yearbook? I can't remember. I feel like I got like best smile maybe.
Oh, I believe that. He's got a great smile. Look at those teeth. Look at those pearlies.
I can't remember. I don't think I got.
Let's
anything
get our
in senior.
yearbooks out. That would be fun.
Totally. And
Let's
Colette
totally
just
do
wants to show
that.
off because she was homecoming queen and
I
got
don't
voted
wanna
most
show
likely
off.
to be famous.
I just want to see what yours said.
I married the homecoming queen. I'm proud of that fact too. I didn't marry her just because she was a homecoming queen.
Homecoming. What's that song?
I married her for
Homecoming
sweet
queen.
knockers.
Anyways, what? That was so not nice or appropriate.
No, I was a little inappropriate today.
Today.
A little inappropriate.
I
Only
mean,
today.
usually it's
Like,
bad,
don't
but
put-
today it's extra bad. You almost made me spill the water on the
Whoa,
equipment.
Roth, your electronic devices were almost destroyed. I am sorry. Listen, okay, so when I was young, wild and crazy, first one of my friends to do a backflip on skis. I remember it well. I landed on my head and stretched out my neck. And if there wasn't a lot of snow, I probably would have broken my neck and been paralyzed to this day. Luckily, I wasn't
good
paralyzed
thing.
that day. But now that I have 4 kids, it's like I could die and then my poor sweet little wife would have to fend for our family alone in this wilderness. Would you get remarried? How long after I died would you get remarried?
Oh, right away. No, you
I
can't
like when
ask
you're a
me
jerk.
that.
That makes me laugh. Oh, right away. Absolutely. I've been looking for an
I
opening
would not
in the
waste
marriage
any time. I've got a list already.
Do you? Who would you marry out of our friends that we
Out
know?
of your friends?
Who would you marry if I died?
I am not going to answer that question.
Come on, you got to answer it.
I'm not going to answer that question.
Because I'll tell you which one of your friends I'd marry.
Oh, really? No, you
Just
tell me
kidding.
which one of your friends would you want me to marry?
Not Cassim. You stay away from Cassim. I don't care if I die.
Cassim?
You stay away from Mr. Gariba. He's a dirty, dirty man.
This dirty man.
He's going to text me.
I know. I was like waiting for it.
Stay away from that Gariba character. No, I think he's still in South by Southwest.
Oh, is he?
He's in Austin.
He's usually peeking in on our podcasts and sends Shay some really fun
He sends
texts.
me- I've always said Ben Donovan. So I think he's
Oh.
a sweet gentleman. I think he would
He's a sweet
take care of
gentleman.
you.
Well, don't die, because I don't want you to die.
Yeah, I don't want you. If I died, I wouldn't want you to get married. But hopefully I don't die.
Well, what kind of a say would you have after that?
I would wait. I would wait at least a year after you died.
Really?
No, I would wait a lot. That would be hard, honestly. It would be hard. The only reason I think I would get married again is because I would want help with all the freaking kids.
Well, I would want you to get married.
Really?
Yeah. Well, that's how, because my parents had this situation actually
Scenario
happen.
is a real life situation for me.
And they discussed it before, and she said, you need to get remarried because my kids need a mom, you know? Mm-hmm. And I see the wisdom in that.
Well, your mom kind of knew for a while that, she had breast cancer and she was very
it's not
sick.
something you want to have to discuss or want to have to happen, but yeah. So speaking of extreme sports, people always ask me, well, since this video went up, how did you let Shay do that? And then I think about it, I'm like, you're right. I don't even know. No, I just feel like that's something that you've always, you would have regretted if you didn't do it.
It wasn't, this is something that Colette's always known since we got married that I'm kind of like an adrenaline junkie. Like skiing and doing
excitement.
all these kind of things. Like, I crave
He
it.
enjoys
It's like
change.
my
He
drug.
enjoys adrenaline. He enjoys that rush, and I don't.
Right.
But I know that he does.
So when we discussed it, when Devin called me to go do this rope swing video, it was like last minute. He texted me. He's like, hey, because I had talked to him previously after I saw his Arches rope swing video that had like 16 million views on it. I said, dude, if you ever do a rope swing video, I want to go. So he texted me and he said, hey, I gotta breathe. I'm still catching my breath from my run this morning.
Breathe.
You know what I love? Side note, when they plow the sand, the beaches, they have these big tractors out
Hold
there.
on to the previous conversation so we don't lose it really quick.
Anyways, I'm sorry. What am I talking about? I'm sorry. I'm totally ADD today. So he texted me and he said, we're going this weekend to this undisclosed location. If you want to come, we're going to go do this rope swing that's double the last rope swing. And he sent me a little video clip that it was just kind of grainy. It wasn't a very good, video of this location where I was going. And so I got to see the actual jump site before I went. And it was just like, oh my gosh. And I said, Colette, come in here and check this out. She came and watched it, and she's like, you did. You said you were not doing that. You're not going. I'm like,
but
babe.
in my mind, I was like, he's going, but I don't want him to go.
I'm like, babe, I gotta do it. I've got to go do this. This is like my dream, to do something like that. And I said, and I told her, I said, I'll go and I'll check it out. If it seems sketchy, if it seems too risky, I promise I won't do it. And that was real. In my mind, I flew out there. It was last minute. It cost me $750 to fly out there on the plane ticket, because it's last minute, and I had to fly into this really small destination where one other, you can go back and watch the vlog. There was one lady on the plane and her little kid, and it was this tiny little plane, and it was weird because there was no flight attendant and there was no door where the pilots were. So it was there was 4 people on this airplane, 2 pilots, a lady and her kid, and me, 5. There was 5 of us on this plane total, including the 2 pilots. And there was no door to where the pilots were. So I'm thinking, as I'm sitting there on this plane, I'm like, I could go and strangle those 2 pilots and take over this plane right now. And then I'm like, why am I thinking that? That's a bad thought to have. I'm like, if I was Osama bin Laden, I could take over this plane right now.
Yeah, but there wouldn't be any you would only be killing a couple people.
But not if I flew the plane into a building.
Good point.
But that's like the thing
So
that you
smart.
think. I know, right?
Man.
I'm surprised you didn't think about that. I'm surprised you're not a mass murderer like me. Anyways, like that's the thing. Like, you ever have those thoughts and you're like, why am I
I
thinking about
don't.
that? Stop.
Shay has weird thoughts, guys.
Come
I'm
on,
just
admit
going
it.
to tell you right now.
Sometimes you guys have
I don't.
psychotic thoughts
I don't.
too.
Never.
But I guess it's just because you're so used to security these days and like you're worried about national security that like when you get on a plane, like everything's like so tight. But this
Super
one
heightened.
I was like, I could totally just walk up there right now, and just like jump in the cockpit. I'm like, I got it. But I didn't do that. Anyways,
Good plan.
sometimes I reveal too much of my mind. Admit it. You guys have had crazy wild thoughts. Like when you're
All of
driving,
them
you're like,
out there are like, nope,
I could kill everybody in this car right now if I just swerved off the road.
nope,
You've never thought that?
no.
Okay, so I went
Mostly
to this.
I think about how I could be more safe and not less
You're so
safe.
So we go to this location, and what I didn't expect is when we landed, there was snow. There was quite a bit of snow, and it was 0 degrees Fahrenheit. Freezing, frigid, bone-chilling, like painfully cold. I had 3 coats on the entire time I was gone.
Yeah.
It was so cold.
I believe it.
We went to this site. I rented a van. That was like my tent. And
van
we drove
down
out to
by
this
the
site.
river.
And it's not an easy, they want this place to be an undisclosed location because the locals in the area don't want a million people showing up to be like, I want to try that, and just like flying off this cliff. So it was very, purpose that we kept the location secret. And even if I told you where it was, it's really hard to find. It was like, from the airport, it was
Well, don't tell them.
a 45-minute drive on this dirt road. And then once you got off this dirt road, you had to go on this other road. There's like, you couldn't even see it because it's like, there was like rocks, like you were driving over rocks. And then from there, like you parked and you had to get out and it was like a 15-minute hike into where this thing was. So like, even if you knew.
No cell phone service, I can tell
there
you
was
that.
no cell phone service. So we got to the location and I was just like, oh my heck. And you can see, I have like a behind the scenes video of the rope swing that you can go check out. I documented like my experience of going to this thing. So we got there and they started setting up the ropes and I started looking at it and I was like, it looks a lot scarier on camera. When you see the video, it looks like you're like
I doubt it.
right next to these cliffs.
I think it would
Like-
probably look scarier in person. Because even in the comments, people were like, oh, it doesn't look that big. Like, are you kidding me? 400 feet. 400.
I didn't see any comments that said it doesn't look that
I
big.
did. I saw a couple.
Dude, you're like down in my awesome video. now.
No. I'm just saying that when you're in person, usually things look even bigger.
Yep. Anyways, so it was great. We got there. I really trusted the 2 dudes that set it up.
Carlos.
What?
And I did too. That's what I'm saying is I wouldn't have been okay with you going had I not trusted Devin and his team. And I am the person that I kind of feel like if it's your time to go, then you probably will go.
Do you think
know
that
what I mean?
would do? I think that some people consider doing that as a father with 4 kids irresponsible.
Maybe,
Do you
but
think
I
that
don't.
was? What about you guys in the chat?
I would
Do you
have
think it was
told you. I would have
irresponsible?
been like, babe, this is the stupidest decision you've ever made and it's totally irresponsible. But I didn't. Right?
Right.
I didn't.
Nope. You got to do it. People are saying no.
Nope, it's fine.
No. You're a nutball. Says the hey Templemans. What's up, Terry? Once we got there and I saw the setup, there was literally like 6 anchors on each side, bolted with steel bolts bolted into the rock. And so even if one of them failed, there was like 5 different ropes that were like backed up. And then we swung from 2 ropes, rope climbing ropes. And those ropes are like rated up to like 5,000 pounds a piece. And they had 2 of them. The scariest part, and what nobody realized, because you didn't really see it in the video, but the scariest part of the entire rope swing is not like the jumping and the free fall and then like the giant swing. It was climbing up the 300-foot rope to get back up to the top of the cliff. And that's where I was freaking out, and I had to have like this moment of calm down, Shay, because I jumped, I did my little flip off the cliff. It was awesome. You fell. I swung out. I had this moment with God, like this serenity moment where I was swinging there, and it was just as the sun was setting and you could see like the horizon out here. And I was like so quiet all of a sudden because I was in the middle of this canyon. just
Could
swinging.
you hear like the rope?
Yeah, it's like as you swung, it was like the rope sound was like cool. So anyways, like I was just kind of like swinging there at the bottom, and I just felt like the most peaceful feeling. And like the moon was out because it was like, you know, the sun was setting, so I could see the sun and the moon, and this like amazing panorama of like red rocks and like snow, and it was just like, this is awesome. You know, it was one of those moments like I will never forget this moment. Like, this is gorgeous. That was an amazing jump. Like, I just felt so lucky to be alive, I guess, and like that I had opportunities to do things like this. And it was just this moment of like pure bliss. So then once I kind of started to stop swinging, if you understand how the thing worked, there was a line that the rope was hooked to. And then once you're at the bottom after the rope swing, they had another rope attached to the ropes you were hanging from, and they would pull the rope that was on the line over to the side of the cliff. So once they pulled you over, you're hanging and you're right next to this rock wall. Well, there was another rope that was tied off that was dangling down that you had to then untie from the two ropes that you had just swung from and then latch into this new ascending rope, the rope that you climbed up to get out of this cave. Well, out of this cliff, or whatever you want to call it, slot canyon, I think is the correct term, crevasse. And I had never done that before. Like, I've been rock climbing in my life, but these ascenders, there's these tools that you latch onto this rope, and they'll slide up the rope, and then when you pull down, there are these teeth that like lock into the rope. So I never used these before. And it works where like you put your foot under one, so like you're basically like climbing like this up this rope 300 feet. And what happened is when I went to untie these two ropes to tie into this ascension rope, somehow the two ropes at the bottom got into this like giant knot. Like if you imagine like a Christmas tree knot. You know when you get your Christmas lights out for the next year and it's like, how the heck did they get in this giant knot? You have to spend 45 minutes untangling it. The two knots, the two ropes I had just swung from got into like a big ball knot like that. And I had to like pull them through to like unattach myself. And so I'm sitting there at the bottom of this thing, like spinning like this, trying to untangle these knots. And I had these gloves on, which was good at the time. But then I took one off to like do something with the carabiner, and I squeezed it in between my knees to like hold the glove. And I thought, okay, don't drop that glove. And then I was doing something and I forgot about it. And then I went down to grab my glove and it was gone. And I was like, oh no. And I looked down and I could just see it. It was like I'm hanging 100 feet above rock. So even if you fall at that point, it's still 100 feet drop if you fall off the end of this rope. So then my hand is like freezing. Like I can barely feel my hand. And I'm like spinning, and all of a sudden, like, and it's getting darker, and I'm thinking, I don't know what I'm doing. Like, I could be stuck down here. And I started like freaking out. I started having like a little panic attack. Totally. Like, like, oh man. And I'm like, and my abs are killing me because I'm like trying to sit up because the way that the rope, it kind of like holds you by your harness. So I'm like trying to sit up, trying to untie this thing. And I literally had to like stop and talk to myself and be like, Shay, you have to calm down. Like, you have to figure this out. Like, it got to a real moment where I was like fearing for my life. Like, I was going through all the scenarios, like, they're going to have to call in a life flight, like all these crazy things.
That's so funny to me because the actual jumping and falling would be the scariest. But it was actually like your own fear of hanging that actually made you afraid.
Right. Well, and it wasn't even that like just hanging there was scary. It was like I couldn't get this rope undone. And like there's these giant knots, and I was like getting fatigued, and I was like, how am I going to make this climb up? Anyway, so finally, like, I calmed down, and one thing that actually helped me is that there was this little ledge that was like sticking out like maybe 4 inches that I got up and I like stood on. So I'm like standing. I wish there was a camera down to like show all this, because I'm like standing on the edge of this cliff up against this rock wall, and I figured it out, finally got everything, and I made that climb up, and it was over, and it was the experience of a lifetime. It was really cool.
And he survived and came home, and that's what I cared about.
But it was cool. It was a really cool thing to be a part of. Check it out. I'll put the rope swing video below. And I came home. I felt bad because like there was no cell phone service. And
so I couldn't hear from him until like 8 or 9 that night.
It was like at night. Were you nervous?
Yeah, all day. And your poor mother, she called me and she's like, have you heard from him yet? And I'm like, no. And she's like, I shouldn't have even asked. Like, she didn't even want to know what you were doing.
Right.
But
yeah, when I got back into town, I called and I was like, I'm alive.
Yay.
It was crazy. So yeah, that's I think sometimes you have to take risks.
I think it was fine too. I mean, I don't know. I guess I just have a lot of faith in things like that. I just feel like, You'll be fine. And I have a lot of faith in you because I feel like you do a lot of crazy things, but you've never done anything that you were uncomfortable with.
Right.
Like you always feel very confident when you're doing the things that you're doing.
As a kid, there was definitely things that I was like that were kind of sketchy. I'm like, I don't know about this, but like I didn't care. I would just like jump off of it or like whatever it was. But now that I have kids, that's something I definitely think about. It's like, you have to make a calculated risk. But I think the thing to take away from this is you have to take risks if you want any reward. And that's not only like jumping off of giant rope swing cliffs. That's like in life. Like if you don't take risks, then you'll never have a reward. Sometimes you have to expose yourself. Sometimes if you're afraid of being vulnerable and stepping out there, that's in everything. If you find a girl that you want to be with, if you're afraid to like risk going up to her and saying, hey, I think you're really pretty. Maybe we should make a family together. You might not ever find that woman of your dreams. I'm just saying, in life, you have to take risks in order to get a reward. And sometimes you'll fail. Sometimes those risks will come back to bite you. But that's how you learn. Like, that is the secret of life, is taking risks. I mean, there's lots of secrets of life, but that's definitely one that, I would encourage people to do, is like, do something that scares you every day. Get up and try that thing that you've always wanted to, but you thought, no, and you've talked yourself out of because it's like, I can't do that. That's unrealistic. Don't believe in that. Believe in miracles. Believe in amazing things can happen, and I promise you they will. And that's the gist of this.
It is. That's the gist.
All right, thanks for joining us on episode 105 of When the Kids Go to Sleep.
With the kids.
Download the link below, free on iTunes. Follow us on Twitter. Follow the When the Kids Go to Sleep Twitter. At WTKGTS.
Yes.
Say something cute.
I love you. I'm glad you're happy and alive and didn't die on the rope swing.